Hello viewers, I recently bought this horrific looking abomination, and it's fucking amazing! What is the best type of car to use for commuting? This is something that many of us have spent quite a lot of time thinking about. I know I have. And at this moment in time, my answer to the question is this: an old Suzuki Alto. I've changed my mind on this topic of what is the best car to use to commute in about as many times as I have had cars altogether. I started off with just whatever I could afford as a first car. Then, when I got a good job, I decided we spend so much time in our cars, we might as well make it a nice place to be. So get something good, get something new, get something with all the gadgets and all the mod cons. Then, a few years later, I added up the costs I was spending on fuel, road tax, insurance and car payments. I changed my mind again. I thought, just get an old banger, spend £1,000 on an old hatchback, but get one with a nice big engine, so at least you get to work and get home fast, and you can handle the roads and the country lanes and the motorways. 18 months of doing that and looking at everyone else's nice cars in the car park compared to mine, I changed my mind again. I thought, I'm doing better than this, I deserve better, and also I want more performance. I'm spending 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week, God knows how many hours a year in my car. I should just get whatever I want. So then I went for performance again. I got a medium-aged Golf GTI. However, again, driving that for a year, high insurance, high tax, high fuel bills, I thought I'm spending all this money just to get to and from work. I'm not even enjoying the performance because I'm always stuck behind other people on the roads. So, after getting an absolute banger just to get me by for 6 months, I've now got this Suzuki Alto, and it's brilliant. I put in filters into a car buying website and selected for cheap road tax, high miles per gallon, and only a few models came out in the range I was looking at, and this was one of them. In a second I'll get out of the car, do a walk around, and give you an overview of the main features. But for now I'll try and answer a few questions that you might be asking. Is it really slow? Not really, no. As you can see, I'm going on a fair pace down these country roads, and on normal roads I don't notice the lack of performance at all, really. In fact, it even feels quite nippy. It kind of reminds me of what an original Mini must have felt like. A tiny little car, accelerates well out of corners, and has quite good handling. Yes, on the motorway it does take more time than most cars to get up to 70, but if you drive it properly, you won't really notice this much. I've had it up to 85 miles an hour, but at that speed it was shaking and vibrating quite a lot. It was obviously pretty uncomfortable. It'll happily cruise at 70, but it seems happier at 65. For commuting, that's good enough for what I really want. Is it really economical? Yeah, it is. Quoted figures say about 55 miles per gallon. On my commute I'm getting between 45 and 50, but then I do drive it everywhere like I stole it. And the economy does seem to go down a bit when you're on the motorway, perversely, as it's normally the opposite in most cars. Maybe this is because it doesn't really like doing sustained periods above 65 miles an hour. One point to note is that I did notice the economy rise a lot after I pumped the tyres up. I hadn't really checked it when I bought it, drove it for 5 days with only 22 psi in the tyres. Once I bumped this up to 33, the economy did rise quite noticeably. Can it do hills? Yes, it can, although it does struggle a bit. It can drop to as low as 55 on this really steep hill, but just drop down the gears and you'll make it up fine. Is it comfortable for big people? Well, I'm 6'1", and yeah, it's pretty comfortable. Although it is a little obvious that I'm a bit bigger than this vehicle was designed for. My commute's an hour, and it's fine for this, but if I was doing multiple hour journeys, I think it would start to get fairly cramped and uncomfortable after that. Can I carry passengers? Yeah, of course you can. It's got 4 seats. However, everything I'm saying in this review is based on just me being in it. I think if you were carrying passengers, the extra weight might actually drop the performance quite noticeably. In my opinion, it's better off as a one-person car. I think if you had more people than that, the performance would really suffer. So that's pretty much the end of the driving part of the review. A few other comments though before I go on to the features of the car is that because this car is so small and so narrow, it's one of the narrowest things on the road. In real world terms, it's actually quite quick because through towns and things you can fit through gaps and make progress when most other cars are stuck and have to wait for other people.